Welcome to the quarterfinal of the Neos Monthly. This month is Atlantic, spiced up with a Mirage fetchland. First up, we have Rob Hackney. He's playing a 4-colored Tier 1 deck. What is there to say about this deck? This deck has been performing quite well recently. He's spicing it up with 2 Usams, but the core of the deck is the 4 Hyms and 4 Hypnotics. And it's a very reliable deck, spiced up with all the restricted cards. The more, not common deck cards he's playing in the sideboard. He's playing Spell Blast in the sideboard. That's quite, a choice. And he's also playing with 4 Divine Offerings, so he's quite afraid of the Artifacts decks, I would say. And a Brain Geyser as well. And I guess he might be afraid of the Him tutorials there. Except from that, I don't think it's much to say actually. It's a very strong archetype that has been performing quite well in Atlantic format. It doesn't work in the Swedish format though, because of the Pump Knight and the Hyms doesn't exist. But I think that's it, and let's move on to his opponent. His opponent today is Mark. He's on Reanimator, and he has been playing Reanimator for a long time, so he has fine-tuned the deck. In this version, we play with Fallen Empires, and we play with Deep Spawn. And of course, we play with all the restricted cards as well here. Some notable things to say about the decks. He's also playing white. That's not all Reanimator decks that does that. But I think it's a good choice, and he chose to play Divine Offering over the Disenchants. That's also a nod to the Atlantic format where the artifact is running Havoc. And except for the creature suit, I don't think there's much more to say about the main deck. But in the sideboard, he uses the rest of his All Hallows Eve. He only has 2 in the main and 2 in the sideboard. And instead of Disenchant in the sideboard, where he only plays 1, he plays Dust to Dust. And that combos quite well with the All Hallows Eve, because he wants to remove the creatures, not just put them in the sideboard. And instead of a Disenchant, he actually plays Concordian Crossroad for cards like the Abyss. And he also played the disc. And I don't think there is much more to say about that deck. It's very interesting to see how it works. And people normally doesn't come very prepared for it. But Mark has really put a mark on the map with this deck. So people might be more prepared for it nowadays. But it will be interesting to see how we will fare in this matchup. It's actually quite hard to pick a favorite here. But on to the matches. Let's jump onto the matches with Mark on the left and Rob to the right. And Mark starts, and Rob starts for a library when they draw 1 card directly. Mark is on a mulligan here, and Rob is playing his Lotus, which promptly get offered to the Divine Offerings. Okay, and there he has his namesake card, Bazaar, and he's using it directly, discarding a Deep Spawn, and animates it. He's tapped out, however, so he can't protect it. So it meets a Swords. But they still both have their Arabian lands active. Okay, so he's playing a balance with only 1 card in hand. Or is it actually 0 cards in hand? That means he has to discard his whole hand, so the library doesn't do very much anymore. So they are both on a top deck war here. I don't know who's going to benefit from this, but probably Mark, because he is on the active Lua. I guess we will have to see. Okay, so a factory, enter the tables, and attacks, meets another divine offering. And Mark is looking at his graveyard there. Is he on another animate dead perhaps? He doesn't. Yeah, he has some targets in the graveyard, like Mamoti and what does he choose? Yeah, he chose the Mamoti. Okay, and it's promptly disenchanted. Oh, a Central with Reanimate backup. Not that it mattered that much in this matchup though, but okay. And a Demonic Tutor will be interesting to see what is tutoring for here.
Yeah, looks like we found out correctly. It probably tutor for the Ancestral there.
Okay, so Mark plays All Hallows Eve. That's the old school equivalent to Suspend, with Suspend 2. And he also plays activates the Bazaar. Because he knows he's going to get a lot of creatures. He wants to get a lot of creatures. Oh, there you go. 3 more creatures in the yard. He's on 11 life though. 1 more turn before the All Hallows Eve comes back into play. So 1 more turn for Mark to activate the Bazaar. And he puts another creature in the yard and lands as well. Okay, so he chose to play Animate Dead here. That's kind of strange because next turn he will get the creature back anyway, but okay. Well, interesting to see how Rob responds here. I guess he's looking for his graveyard as well. And they're doing a little shit show how All Hallows Eve works, I guess. No, okay. So he animated the Central from Rob's side. That explains it actually. And Rob isn't doing much here. He's just sitting around. And the next turn, all the creatures from Mark's side will enter play. And that will probably spell game. We will see if he doesn't have a balance or something that could wipe the board away. Okay, so he shows. Okay, he attacks because he knows he's gonna get creatures back. And now they all enter the board. Only 2 from Rob, but a lot of creature on Mark's side. So 6 of them. Treacher Skellion. Just the Treacher Skellions will deal at least 9 damage. And then he had another 3 flyers, so this will be a problem. He attacking with the Central here? Oh, I will have to say that they all have Summoning Sickness, of course. They're not. He chooses to attack with a Central, it looks like. It's kind of a weird attack because he can block and he can kill it, I guess. But he can Reanimator as well, so. I guess he lost one life from that. Well, at least he should lose one life from the city. And yeah, it's okay. So he attacks with all the creatures. Interesting. This is like a suicide attack, I guess. Maybe he has a balance in his hand, perhaps. That could explain this attack. Mark is quite low on life. He's on a single digit here. I think he should block, obviously. That's the only way he's gonna lose without blocking. And well, I guess yeah, the Mamuti chose to block somehow. And yeah, on the swing back he's obviously gonna win. Yeah, he triple blocks with the 3 Mamutis. And will Rob have any way to deal with this? No, he chose them all to go to the graveyard, and then he played the balance. Yeah, so it was a suicide attack. But it also means he takes 9 damage from the Triskelion. But he couldn't let him through because he was quite low on life, and he could gamble on that he was on bolts and stuff. But that means we have a more open game, I guess. Hypnotic could be a problem. Okay, so he activates his Bazaar again, putting another putting 2 lands or something into his graveyard. Yes, does he have Animate Dead in his hand? He's looking like that at least, because he's searching through his graveyard. I wonder what he's looking for here. Should be a creature. That's the way he's gonna win this game. And Rob is already dangerously low on 6. Okay, so he's source to Hypnotic, I guess? No, okay, so he doesn't source the Hypnotic. He just showed the Hypnotic. Okay, so he play Regroove on the Animate Dead and then Animate Dead the Moti. And swings with it. They're quite bold. Okay. They are both on single digit. Is it a 5 lives mark? And Rob is on 2. So he has to block with Hypnotic. But now the Hypnotic has to stay back if he doesn't have a removal. And because he's so dangerously low on life. Okay, Mind Twist for 2. And he blocks with the Hypnotic, and he doesn't top deck anything. So let's move on to the second match. In this second match, Rob again starts with a library. And Mark chose to mulligan to 6. He has to mulligan more aggressively to find that namesake card, the Bazaar here. So that's probably not too bad. Mark chose not to activate it though, but he activates his second turn and drops a couple of creatures in the yard. Maybe just one creature? Okay, that's a strange move to drop the Animate Dead. that seems quite crucial. So he must be sitting on a quite good hand here. He's just to animate the Mamuti, so it's a 4/6. Still, Rob has an active Lua, so he might be able to catch up here. There you go. The blast from the sideboard comes in and do the duty. And he's still on the library actually, I think. Oh, now he's definitely off the library on a Mind Twist on 3 from Mark's side. So he's 3 cards left. Oh, the balance. You saw it in the first game, how crucial the balance was. So this will be rough. Even though he pumps the knight and plays a Mishra. I still think that Mark, should be able to come back from this because he has only 17 lives, so. And he has an active Bazaar on his side. I wouldn't say full grip, but he has cards in his hand. Okay, another Mind Twist. At least a regrow from Mind Twist, so we'll see a Mind Twist next turn. So that means Rob has to empty his hand now, I think. Because he don't want to lose it. And that's what he's doing. He activates the Lua. Lua meets a sword. And he only has 1 card left in his hand. And I wonder what that could be, because he probably will lose it to Mind Twist. If Mark decided that he cares for it. Okay, the Pump Knight is immune to Swords to Plowshare, so it could be dangerous here. Taking down Mark to only 11 lives. And Ayusan entered the battlefield. That's interesting. But what is he sandbagging doing in his hand? Okay, so he's down to 9 lives. Mark has to do something now. He can't just keep activating the Loa because, he can do that, but he has to do something active because he has suspend, as I told you in the first match. Savdo suspended, that is. Okay, Mind Twist for 1. Is he not going to do anything else? He only has 1 card though. No, he's going to Swords the Yusam, taking up Rob to all the way up to 26 lives. Another Pump Knight, and I guess he's cracking his Ludus in order to pump the first Pump Knight. So if Mark doesn't have anything here, he's gonna lose. Oh, he has an Ancestral. It's only down to 5 lives. Is that a Time Walk? It looks like a Time Walk, yeah. Okay, so he has 3 cards in hand. And he's desperately trying to find something here with the Bazaar. Will be interesting if he can get out of this grip. A Triskelion would be nice here, since he could shoot both the knights. Okay, discarding from the Bazaar. An All Hallows Night Eve comes in the graveyard as well. Okay, so he animates dead and... Okay. The Deep Spawn actually. That was interesting. He doesn't have any Triskelion in his yard, I think. But does that mean that he can attack for the win here? No, okay, he can only pump once, so not maybe for the win, but if he has a bolt in his hand, perhaps. He's dangerously low on life. Okay. Yeah, he can pump twice now. So yeah, I guess he does pump the unblock the knight and the blocks with the deep spawn. And he's down to 1 life. Down to the wire. Can I make an incredible comeback here? From 1 life? That would be interesting. Okay, and all Hallows Eve. 2 turns. A 2-turn clock. That's a him to Torash. Okay, doesn't do very much here though. Because Mark wants to put stuff in his yard for the All Hallows Eve too. Okay, so I guess he mills for the crab as well. And before he draws, he mills a couple more cards and then he draws. Okay. And he has a stacked graveyard here. So if the All Hallows Eve resolve like it looks like it will be a massive battlefield. Yeah, 3 deep spawn, 1 Mamuri, 1 Triskelion, and 1 Swamp King facing the 2 Pump Knights and the Yusan. Okay, so I guess the deep spawn attacking. He's on 26 lives here. Okay, he shoots down the knights. And suddenly this game turned around. It's on 1 life and he's making a remarkable comeback here. I don't think the Yusam's gonna save him. It will be a lot of triggers next turn for Mark with a 3 deep spawn is spanning. Milling, I guess. Will he attack? It looks like he will attack with a Yusam. Does he have another balance, perhaps? No, sorry. He blocks the deep spawn, I guess. Okay, an ancestral. Maybe we can find something here. Still, he's on 1 life. But he's looking rather desperately now. He will have to come up with some answer now, and otherwise Mark will win on the swing back here. That's 18 plus 10, 28, 30 points of damage on the board. And 1 Meisly Central won't affect that very much, I think. He's swinging all out here, so that means he has to win now, I think, because otherwise he will lose on the swing back. But it's 28 damage and then he can shoot as well for 1. Yeah, there's no way he's gonna survive this. Yeah, so Marks takes down 2-0.